NASA and many other liar magicians tell us our sun is 93 million miles from the Earth and 109 times larger than the Earth. However, amateur balloon footage taken from the clouds prove that the sun is not 93 million miles away or bigger than the Earth. What the footage shows is a locally illuminating sun casting a localized hotspot over the Earth. If it were millions of miles away, this local hotspot would not be possible. Furthermore, if the sun was not a local illuminary, then we would not experience crepuscular sun rays. The angle of the sun rays that we see when light breaks through the clouds would not be possible, and we have thousands upon thousands of photographic and empirical evidence of the sunlight behaving this way. If the sun were 93 million miles away, then its light should form a straight beam and not be displayed in angled rays. If the sun is so far away, then why does it grow so much with just a small rise in altitude on Earth? At 93 million miles away, this rise in altitude should be negligible or non-existent. The change in size suggests a locally illuminating sun that is not an inconceivable 93 million miles away, but is actually relatively close to Earth, journeying just above the clouds. And it is not 109 times larger than the Earth, but actually a lot smaller than the Earth. Our first-hand experience of the sun and the moon is that they are nigh on equal in size and circular shapes that anyone can use their common sense to discern that the sun and moon are of similar size. And the moon is not a ball of rock.
And they just start making stuff up.
Yeah.
Like that Neil Armstrong guy. Have you seen him on the talk shows?
Neil Armstrong, you mean the first man to walk on the moon?
Talk about a fish story.
Yeah.
Man, and they're buying it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Many have studied the sun and moon's light. The sun's light is warm and drying. It preserves matter and prevents decay. If you leave fruits out in the sun, it will preserve them, like with sun-dried tomatoes and raisins. It is antiseptic and healing. The moon's light, however, is cold, damp, causes putrefaction and decay, and is septic. The sun's rays decrease the combustions of a bonfire, while the moon's light increases it. People have studied the temperature of the moonlight and were surprised to find that at night the temperature of direct moonlight is colder than the temperature of the shade. This proves that these two luminaries are unique and opposites in nature. It also undercuts NASA's claims that the moon reflects the sunlight. If that were the case, then the moonlight should have a degree of residual warmth to it and not be colder than the shade at nighttime. Furthermore, the moon cannot simultaneously be a spherical body and a reflector of the sun's light. When light is shined upon a spherical body, it produces this. Reflectors have to be flat or concave to actually reflect. A spherical convex surface results in no reflection. Again, basic, repeatable, verifiable and real science works against a magician's space saga hoax. A lot of photographic and film footage also proves that the moon is semi-transparent. When the waxing or waning moon is visible during the day, it's sometimes possible to see the blue sky right through the moon. Sometimes at night it is even possible to see stars directly through the surface of the moon. And this is how solar and lunar eclipses are possible. The heliocentric model completely fails when studying lunar eclipses. For a lunar eclipse to take place in the globe model, the sun has to be reflecting the Earth's shadow onto the moon, and all three have to be aligned in a straight 180-degree syzygy. But since the beginning of time, lunar eclipses have been observed while both the sun and the moon are simultaneously visible in the sky. Furthermore, when looking into the mechanisms of a solar eclipse, the heliocentric liar once again falls apart. As this footage demonstrates, the sun and the moon have to be roughly a similar size for a solar eclipse halo to form.
Representing my sun source and a penny representing the moon. And as you can see, the flashlight is a lot larger than the penny. Okay, now let's place the sun 93 million miles out into space like this. And let's get our penny a lot closer to the camera. Okay, where it's about the same size as the flashlight in perspective. Okay, now that doesn't look right. You can't see the corona, and it just doesn't eclipse. You can still see it light all around. It's not a total blackout. Okay, now I have a side light on the side of this flashlight that just so happens to be the exact same size and diameter as the penny, which is perfect for our next test because the sun and the moon are the same size on a flat earth. And we'll bring the sun in closer to us as it would be on a flat earth. Now let's try our eclipse with the moon right underneath the sun. And wow, there's the corona.
If the sun was 400 times bigger than the moon, then its light would devour the moon and we would not witness the halo, or corona. Then is the Earth really what we've been led to believe it is? And then I remembered the 1959 United Nations Treaty, which prohibits and regulates all global activity on the continent of Antarctica and ensures that the continent belongs to no nation. With Gleason's map in mind, I started to wonder whether Antarctica was really what we had been told it was. Was it really a freezing white untouched paradise where, as Sir David Attenborough shows us, penguins play in the snow? Could it really be a huge ice wall encompassing the entire Earth? And then something dawned on me and stopped me in my tracks. How did I not notice? It was staring me in the face the whole time. Gleason's map. Hidden in plain sight in the United Nations logo. Look, the North Pole is at the centre just like Gleason's map. And why is Antarctica missing? Or is it? Upon closer inspection I realised that the logo was framed in a circular laurel. I know from ancient Greek mythology that the laurel leaf came to symbolise Apollo. Apollo again. Just like the moon missions. In ancient Rome, the laurel was not permitted for profane uses, and lighting it at the fires of the altar was strictly forbidden. And I knew from the treaty that the UN had strictly forbidden Antarctica from being explored and exploited. Was there a message in this? I started digging, and then I realised that not only did the United Nations have this logo, but also the International Maritime Organization, the International Civil Aviation Organization, and the World Health Organization. The Maritime Organization polices the seas, and the Aviation Organization polices the skies. The World Health Organization controls all health and disease communications and guidance for the world, much like it has during the COVID-19 pandemic. I don't know about you, but I find this footage deeply disturbing. With NASA's lies in mind and that great ice wall looming in the distance, I began to experience what some call cognitive dissonance. I went into denial. Of course none of this could be true, and of course our Earth is a spinning globe as we've been taught throughout our lives. It's one thing NASA lying, but are all the professors and scientists lying too? Is the National Geographic Channel lying? And what about Newton, Einstein, Hawking and Attenborough? Are they lying too? It's a complicated answer. NASA claims that the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour around its central axis, travelling at 67,000 miles per hour around the Sun, and spiralling at 500,000 miles per hour around the Milky Way, while the entire galaxy is travelling at 670 million miles per hour through the universe. If this was the case, then the North Pole star, or what is known as Polaris, should not remain a constant in the night sky. It always remains perfectly situated above the North Pole, despite all this motion and journeying. The word planet originates from the ancient Greek planetes, which translates to wandering or to wander. And the Greeks were correct. It is the stars above that are moving, not us on our flat, stationary Earth. Look. As you can see, Polaris remains a fixed constant in the middle, and all the other stars turn perfect circles around it. If the Earth was spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, the stars would be seen to travel more or less horizontally across the sky. But this is not the case. The stars form perfect circles above, emanating out from Polaris, and this can be observed all the way to the Tropic of Capricorn. The reason Polaris never moves is because the North Pole is the center of our flat and stationary Earth, just like depicted in Gleason's map and the United Nations logo. So what are the stars above our heads? And if NASA is lying about the nature of our Earth, Sun and Moon, does that mean that space and the universe are also fake and not what we think they are? The short answer is yes, space as we know it is a hoax.